Hi, I'm Dean Hoyle, and you're listening to And He Takes That Chance.
O'Brien picks it up. Off a miscontrol by Njai. It falls to Bacuna, who releases Diakabi down the right, and suddenly Town are building a chance. Here's Bacuna arriving. Bacuna smashes it into the back of the net. Return pass by Diakabi. Janine Bacuna's broken his stump for the season. Shortly after coming on as a sub. Oh boy, did he take his chance. It's Stoke 0, Huddersfield Town 1, and there is Huddersfield Town's most important goal of the season so far. They are minutes away from their first victory of the campaign.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Richard Kosmala.
We will follow the orders over land and sea and Stoke. We will follow. Come on, join in at home. The orders on to victory.
All together now. We will follow the orders over land and sea and Stoke.
Welcome to the Professional Andy Takes That Chance podcast. Episode number 42.
Wattsville.
Them Terriers, eh? You have to go way back to episode 25, Archery for Beginners, when we had our last win, when all we could think about at that point was visa-free holidays to Uzbekistan. Who can forget the Wolves fan and the Ballon d'Or 2018-19 eventual winner losing his biscuits in a moronic rage? Thankfully, last night has stopped some of the stats about Town. Kosi not winning in X amount of days. They were starting to drain me a little bit. And away from home for another 500 days or whatever it was. Still to win on a Saturday, but I think we're confident that things are now starting to turn around and that'll happen sooner rather than later. So let's dive into the good stuff straight away. And Stoke City. Last night, Town victorious in possibly the best, worst game of football you will ever see. Support in the second half was phenomenal. I thought for the amount of fans that were there, you could just hear them all the way through, singing all the way through.
I got some chants going last night. I was proud because when you go solo on starting a chant and you haven't had a drink, you can only go one way, but you need people around you, don't you?
I'm a bit croaky today.
Oh yeah, you were singing.
And happily so. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
So you guys were soaking it up. How did you feel about the game? Kosi, we'll go with you first because you've been dying to click through that turnstile and enjoy a game for however long. But how did you feel last night went?
Oh, I knew coming in, like everyone else. We all knew. I mean, you were billing it, Neil, as what? El Crapico, was it or something?
El Nafico.
Nafico, that's it, yeah. Apologies for the language. But we all knew it was not going to be something special. But I have to say, it did surpass the nafical sense.
It's safe to say it won't fit purist,
no.
But if you're watching some fast-flowing, attacking, exciting football, Stoke wasn't
the polite phrase is attritional. I think.
But it didn't matter though, because even if I had 18 shots and it barred 10 times, it was all about the W, mate. All about the W. And there was so much to like about, kind of late on. But what I loved most about it, not that just we won, but we went for it. Danny Cowley, I mean, his interview afterwards was fascinating. I was saying to Neil on the way in that, no offence to the King, David Wagner, or any of the managers before, well, maybe offences to some of them, but
yeah,
Danny Cowley's interviews are ace. Danny Cowley's interviews are class because he gives you insight. He gives you insight on why he does. Yep. You remember when Lee Clark used to get pushed by Hoggy, he used to react badly and stuff. Yeah. Unbelievable. Because I thought exactly the same. I'm thinking, this is brilliant. We're going for it. We're proper going for it. Although when Ben's are...
To be honest, you could feel it in crowd. For anybody who are watching it at home on telly, you'll have heard from sort of 65 minutes onwards, that away end, for the 1,000 people there, that away were belting out some noise. And it were like everyone were just willing them over the line. Everyone realised how big that game was. That game was absolutely massive. Yeah. That were as big as... I don't compare it, but it just massive. It were a must win. And a must win after 10 games is not where you want to be.
The subs were racing, because the one thing that did wear me a little bit, I had an interview with him, they're really pushing Danny Cowley. Must not lose. And he wouldn't say it. So must win or must not lose. They were desperate for him. He knew it. But the way, the substitutes were brilliant because, all right, Mbenza, Diakabi, Bacuna, risky stuff, really, because the tracking back these guys do, not the greatest. But he gambled everything for 3 points, and I love that. That said a lot about his mindset, and it was brilliant. And you know what? Even if it had gone wrong and we'd have lost, yeah, it'd have been an absolute sickener. But I just like the fact that he tried to do that, Neil, when I think town managers of old would have said, right, we'll start it at Hull and a point will do here and we won't go behind Stoke and in the league.
You'll have to bleep this, but it's one of our favourite ones. We absolutely shithoused that last night.
I don't want to bleep that because it's true.
Well, leave it in. We absolutely shithoused it because
I think that's going to be in the dictionary.
It should be because we were taking it. Did we have 2 bookings for time wasting?
Well, if we were
taking us
the Danny Simpson one were really amusing because he was looking for someone to throw to. And
there were no time wasting. There was nobody there. That wasn't time wasting. There were no one there.
He got booked for time wasting. We were taking an age with everything.
He did a bit, yeah.
And the place were melting. They were getting angrier, and then the impetus was very much with Tam with the subs, and it was ballsy. He went for it, and he knew it were a must win. Like Kosi said, he avoided saying that in all build up, but that's as must win as it's going to get. You got 2 teams who couldn't buy a win, and whoever lost last night, in my opinion, were done. Put a fork in them.
I mean, it started really bad for us because I was really worried mentally that miss for Kachunga. Everyone was looking at each other. I mean, people texting me who weren't Town fans, why they're watching the game, I don't know. It's just, wow, wait till you see that. So obviously we were at the other end, but it did look bad. I mean, what a chance. It's so much space out wide, and obviously we were at the other end waiting for the net to bulge, and to be honest, it got nowhere near the net. You've seen a replay of it, Matt. We stuck on the motorway for all hours, so we didn't see any of it, but was it as bad as it looked?
Yeah, it was. It looked like it stuck under his unfavoured left foot, and it's not one he'll go back on his highlights reel, but we'll put it that way. But, we got there in the end, I guess.
Yeah, at the time I was just thinking, what's he going to do to us mentally? Because there was a golden chance to silence their kind of crowd early on, and it's just the way it limped past the post. 4 or 5 minutes in and all, wasn't it? It limped past the post.
4 minutes 30.
But and then pretty much nothing happened. I mean, teams couldn't even pass to each other, both sides, and it were horrendous, wasn't it?
It was a diabolical game of football, let's be fair.
But there were some big names on that pitch. Well, Tom Ince, we were sending the car on the way in, absolute shocker.
Sam Klukas has cost a lot of money before as well. He's not a bad player.
When Ince got subbed, obviously they've got to go off at the nearest point now, haven't they? So when the number came up, with very sarcastic cheers around 3 sides at ground, and then he had to walk off on the far side and then walk all the way around the edge.
He'd have his earplugs in.
He was very much head down, little clap, and there were you could see quite a few Stoke fans giving him the old victory sign.
There wasn't much in the way of vitriol from them guys, Neil. I think the apathy and the energy has just totally gone out of that stadium.
Giving up, don't they?
Yeah, and you know what though, their ground were known in the Premier League days as the ground for atmosphere, wasn't it? Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It was dead, and there was I'd say half the crowd there from what was the Premier League as well, which you can't blame people.
What crowd?
I don't know. It didn't look more than
12,000. There were a lot.
Yeah,
there were a lot of
them like 12,000. They'll give out.
They'll give out as 24, but it looked like a lot of.
I mean, I must admit, I was going down for a beer at half time. Just that I watched, kind of the attack happening. Joe Allen thundered onto that header. I thought that should have been in all the way. That right near that
should have scored.
So that's one sitter each really that we missed. So we've kind of levelled that up there, haven't we? So. We'll say that we're equal on sitters there. Second half, it looked like to me Town were playing possum a little bit.
A letter missing on that, isn't there? That's what we're going on last night. Who could be
the best? So yeah, it looked a little bit rope-a-dope. Town just soak up the pressure and then hit them with pace in the last 20 minutes. And one player who struggled for me for most of the game was Lewis O'Brien, and then last half an hour he was superb driving that midfield. He was they played a diamond, so for space he was really struggling.
He started goal.
He started that off. I thought he started everything from midfield from that point. Bacuna, who we've not seen much from this year, we saw a little bit last year that we liked, didn't we? Great ball. And then what I like and don't like about Juninho Bacuna is he's like the world's angriest man on the football field. We'll talk about Millwall in a bit, but there was a flashpoint at the end of the Millwall game where it looked like he jumped in double-footed and nobody really saw it because it was only from a
He was trying his
angle.
best to fall out with a couple last night down in front of us. He was pushing a couple in the chest and getting in the faces. And
what he did on the goal, if you watch the goal at the start, he's followed by, I think it's Atiba, from Stoke. I couldn't see on the grainy screen. But I think it's Peter Atiba who follows, and Bacuna just turns around and whacks him in the chest and then sprints off, and Atiba just gives up completely. It mentally... He's done him. And the first touch is superb.
The goals were class.
Superb. Yeah.
I love the noise from the crowd because it were like, we were so excited, like Diakabi got it and it went, go on, like as if everyone thought, could this happen? And then it was a great goal, wasn't it? It just like burst onto it and absolutely
the first touch is
mullered
class,
it. Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then we just lost our SHIT in that away end. Yeah. But obviously...
to be fair, Diakabi, when he came on, did him a few times once he realised that he could.
He did himself at first, and then
he got into the box with a couple of shooting opportunities or a couple of late back opportunities, and then almost looked like he'd forgot he had ball with him. Classic Diakabi, and then calmest man on pitch takes ball from O'Brien to Bacuna. Bacuna releases him. They both went. I mean, him and Diakabi and Bacuna really bust a gut to get into the box, and Diakabi was literally inch perfect for Bacuna to run onto it, and what a finish.
Diakabi went behind with a goal, Bacuna's celebrating, and Diakabi's quite angry afterwards. He like bumps him with his chest, bumps him behind, and he's proper going. You can see there's frustration coming out. That is, it's good in a positive way.
Absolutely.
There's some lovely pictures doing the rounds the last night. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys there that have been through hell and back. I mean, Danny Cowley touched on it in his interview afterwards, and it was just beautiful to see all that joy. There were people running in. I think Johnny Ogg were running in, and there was someone else running to join the celebrations. It meant so much.
Tommy Elphick
and that as well. Oh, you should see him after the game. It almost reminded me of Tom Cowan salute back in the day.
He's had a lot of sticks since he come, but it's no coincidence that since we've signed a proper right back, that Elphick's looked better.
Yeah, definitely, and that as well. But again, Neil, Stoke had showed nothing till then. They were 7 minutes time hold out, but God, that last injury time went on forever.
It was a bloody awful game. There were nothing.
They had no shots on goal.
Yeah, but they had corner after corner, like 89, 90 minutes. I thought, come on. And then there were a bit of a moment, wasn't there, in their box where you were just like, no.
It's just nice that even though, game were horrible. No, there's no amount of chat can gloss over the fact that was a dreadful game of football.
And no cares either. Now
Absolutely. Zero given, as it were.
But we tried to win it, and that means a lot.
We tried to win.
Yeah, brilliant.
And these two, the Cowleys, the impact that they've had cannot be understated. It can't.
No.
Sheffield Wednesday game, it were poor, but they've been in building for 3 or 4 days. That's all. That's all that bit plays 3 or 4 days. You could see progression at West Brom. We went and took on a good side and did all right for half a game, scored a couple of good goals, and then progression again against Millwall. Could have lost it, could have won it, should have had a penalty, but progression got a point. And then last night,
the little things that I noticed, Neil, a couple of fans mocked me so I noticed Cowley's second half came out, and the first thing they did was come towards the away end and they clapped. And I had someone shout, well, that's not going to do any good. I just totally looked at it totally different. These are two guys who want to do whatever it takes to get Huddersfield Town over the line. So if it gets a noise, if it gets people like more positive than that as well, and some players see that and think this guy's really up for it, then so be it. I can't. There were people who knock stuff like that. It's just like
if you're there last night and
they're not cheerleaders. Look at the records the last few years. They've won promotions. Wherever they've been. They're not amateurs. These guys. They know what they're doing.
They're not a win away.
Yeah.
They're not a win away. And so far we've gone to West Brom and took them on, and just come unstuck against a better side at the end of the day because we bottled it second half. But last night, like I said earlier, we've completely shithoused an away win. And I tell you what, if they can get us another 5 or 6 of them rest of this season away from home, happy days. Don't care how ugly it is.
Neil, when that whistle went, what a feeling! It just I looked around, it was like 10 o'clock. Kicked off so late, and they were messing about the time and stuff. But it was just the best thing ever when the referee just put his arms in the air. And I was expecting a bit of stick, to be fair, from my Leeds following friends. You've won one game. Look at how excited, because I was posting photo after photo. But so what? I was letting it all out, just like them lads were at the end. And another thing that I liked as well.
When were the games since February?
No, the one thing that I liked as well, Neil, and again, I think the crowd were open. The German thing has gone. We don't want to do that wave anymore. That has gone. they all, to be fair, they all walked up and they all held each other's hands. And I thought, no, don't do it, lads.
No.
And they didn't. They went into a circle. And I think it was, you were saying it wasn't Danny Cowley.
Yeah, it was actually Nicky Cowley doing all talking
yeah.
in Udler end, which I like, because it
Yeah.
just shows that it is properly. I know that everyone's singing Danny Cowley's Barmy Army, but it's properly paired of them. It's both of them.
Yeah.
It only fits the song. I'm sure everyone knows it's double act.
Yeah, but he keeps saying trust the process, doesn't he? The process, that's what he keeps mentioning and that as well. So it's a lot bigger thing. But I think a draw felt like a defeat last night, Neil, even though, both teams were horrendous because we were there.
A draw were no good to anybody last night.
It won. And we left, God, some of the quotes, you'll listen to the actual interview with their manager.
I did as well. I like him. I think he's a decent guy.
He was really honest what he said, wasn't he? Because he said, wasn't he? Because everyone was saying in the last season, but it's not his players, it's not his fault, it's not his players. Give me 10 games and then judge me. So he was just good at saying 10 games has gone here.
He just said I have not been good enough. Won't blame players. He said I have not been good enough.
Town were interested in him a few years ago. I think I can't remember between which manager, but he was a name on the radar at one point.
The crowd at Stoke though were just like, there were just no interest. It was just strange. I was expecting to vitriol and
I think he's jumped in at Stoke, probably a similar scenario to us getting Jan, where teams on a downward spiral and it's hard to dig out of that. And
he needs to start from a blank canvas, doesn't he?
Yeah,
really?
absolutely. Yeah.
His interview were great at the end. I don't know if you were going to comment on it then, Matt, but when we mentioned about Bacuna, obviously giving us a little bit of insight into one or two things, happening in his life that, maybe focus. No, on football, we don't see stuff like that.
No.
It's lovely to get him, so he's not treating the public with a bit.
Yeah, well, if his other half and his kid have moved back to Holland, he's going to be, because he's only, is he 22 himself, something like that?
22.
It got to a stage with me with David Wagner and Jan, to be honest with you. I was no interest in listening to their post-match interviews because you learnt nothing.
Jans
come out with the same stuff.
Jans were utterly pointless from the start.
Simon Grayson used to chat loads of rubbish as well, and Lee Clark and stuff. Finally, I think we've got a manager who gives you some genuine insight. You learn stuff.
I disagree with that. I thought Wagner was really good with that. When Oggy asked him questions, he would always explain really, really concisely as to why what he'd done.
Maybe in the early part, I didn't feel it.
I think it may become a bit repetitive towards the end because there wasn't much more he could say other than we're rubbish. but it does annoy me though when people are kind of, he's Klopp, he's done this and that. Look what his record is. Yeah, right, he's not managing this level before, but God, cut the man some slack. His CV holds up, man.
I fully agree. There's people on Twitter today saying, that the club's reactions over at top and
were these our own fans?
A lot of fans are over at top reactions to one win, but
were these our own fans, Neil, or others?
I was.
Right, okay.
But we've won one game. We haven't won a game since February. We've won one game.
Lose.
If you can't get a bit giddy about it, what's the point? That's what we've got at football.
It's how you build a bandwagon. It's how you build momentum, though, isn't it? By celebrating.
We all know.
If you play it down, then you don't celebrate the good times. Then you don't get on that.
What's the point? You might as well watch Coronation Street on a Tuesday.
We haven't had enough buzzes out of football for the last 18 months. Let's enjoy it once we do.
I must admit, I thought it was amusing just seeing the massive celebrations. But like you say, where we've been at hell and back.
Well, it don't paper over. It's not that last night, and Danny Cowley said it when he first came in. One win don't cure everything, but it starts. We've now got. Let's look on the positive side of it. We've got 4 points out of the last 2 games, and when we were getting beat away at Luton and whatever else, could you say he's getting 4 points rest of the season? Never mind in 2 games.
It's 4 points in a week, so that's for. You don't get 2 games in many weeks in the Premier League, but that's the first time we've got 4 points in a week since Easter 2017. And I tell you what,
if games as bad on Saturday against Hull and we win 1-0 again, I'll take that all day long.
Speaking of buzzing, let's have a look at some of the responses on social media to that tweet that you put out yesterday, Neil, about that you weren't sure what to do with the podcast. We had a few interesting ones. It's good to get the heat of the moment kind of response. Andy Kay, who sponsored us via KLD a couple of weeks ago, he said, "Don't let Kosi sing, I'll pay you money again." I'm sorry, Andy, it's too late. I think we've earned a sing-song today. Philip Lawton says, "I told you this morning, Neil, that you'll remember the 1st of October 2019. Brilliant day for you."
Yeah, belting day.
Sue Arthur says, "First game we win in months, first game I miss in months." So I've offered to...
You're now barred, so...
Yeah, we've offered to get us something, maybe afternoon tea somewhere else for this Saturday, so there we go. Richard Ainsworth says, "So long since a win I've forgotten how to celebrate." The Huddersfield Town family-friendly group says, 2 games unbeaten, 4 points from 6, maybe a tiny glimmer of positivity. Only a glimmer, mind, let's not go overboard. And Simon Rout says, he had to double check to make sure it was all real first. And then I saw a comment from a Stoke fan, and I am this amused me, and the Stoke fan said, Huddersfield are a weeping, septic, festering baboon's arse of a team, and we've just been beaten by them at home without registering a shot on target. Words fail me. And that amused
You're
me.
welcome.
Exactly. And I enjoyed that.
Jaden Brown and Jonathan Hogg combined down the left-hand side, and though the combinations come loose, Town have found it again, and here's Colin Grant supplying Campbell, and Campbell scored for Huddersfield Town, his first ever goal for his hometown club. Colin Grant the supplier, but a great calm side-footed finish by Fraser Campbell has given Town a 1-0 lead against Millwall.
Millwall, so a point on the board. So we'll go back to Millwall, a point on the board. So it was only our second point of the season. So in the context of the week, it's quite precious, really. Only the second. So first goal for Fraser Campbell. Town looking a bit more organised defensively, I thought. First half for me wasn't very good. Wasn't great. It was okay. Wasn't great. But a better response second half. Perhaps denied by some strange refereeing performances. Town had 2 penalty shouts turned down. One was on Carlan Grant and the other was on Adama Diakabi. What do you guys, Neil, what do you reckon to the 2 shouts that we had? Because I thought Jeremy Simpson's, this is where Bobby Madley, if he's listening, will say, you guys are, Matt, you're a psychopath. Because Jeremy Simpson's a name I remember from the last time we were in the Championship, and I remember him negatively. But not for incident, like Michael Oliver last year, there was an incident, a flashpoint.
Yeah.
It's not for that, it was just for 90 minutes of anarchy and consistently bad decisions both ways. Not just against us is how I remember Jeremy Simpson. And again,
everyone sees
he
them
didn't let me down.
But to not get one of them, come on.
The Grant one was strange because from where I was sat, Riverside, it looked like he cut in, and it looked like the guy came across and got the ball. And then on the TV, you watch it on TV, and it looks the same. But there's a reverse replay from behind the goal that you can't tell on the angles. And Grant actually plays the ball just before he brings his foot across, and he brings his foot across, and Grant goes over. For me, it's a penalty. We're unlucky, but I don't blame the referee for not giving that with the angle that he's had. But the one on Diakabi,
it's a pen.
I watched it in Benidorm, and firstly a big up to I follow. I don't know if
Kosi in Spain, never.
Yeah, and you get used to that. But what I'd say is just going on that I follow is absolutely brilliant. I was €5.
Do you get Oggy's commentary?
Oggy's commentary, and you get replays and everything. It's absolute quality. The zoom-ins and everything. I just thought we were going to get a similar probably stream to you had last night with cutaways, no replays, anything.
The red button on Sky, you don't get that.
But the best thing is, I went for a pee when Diakabi penalty shout were there. But I didn't think the Grant one won a penalty. Although I'd had a few San Miguel's, but I didn't think it was one. I just thought a bit too easy, really, and that as well. But I don't want to bring it down because we proper bigged it up like last night and stuff. But I didn't think we were all that on Saturday. I was getting a bit of stick on social media, but I think it's different when you watch it on a screen rather than you're at a game. And I were looking for us to step it up second half, and just didn't feel that.
I thought we did. I put a tweet out which was popular and wasn't popular with some. But I thought on Saturday we looked like we really lacked a playmaker. That sort of Aaron Moy type player. We had Trevor and Jonathan Hogg who do a different job. They do parts of their job really well, but nobody who could put the foot on the ball. We had Lewis O'Brien at 10 as well. He dropped a slight bit deeper against Stoke. And he played quite well for the first sort of 50, 60 minutes. And then the last half hour with Kachunga and Grant, you get hard running, you get them into good goal scoring areas, but you don't get somebody with that magic on the ball. Do you know what I mean? And we just looked like we just needed someone with someone who could hit a first time 30-yard reverse pass or something, into space for somebody to run onto, or somebody to whip a free kick in, or just that magic. And I thought we just lacked that second half. I thought the hustle and bustle and the effort was there. It was good, but we just lacked that. And I came away from Millwall feeling a bit disappointed because I felt that was more winnable than Stoke. Yeah. Whereas I now look back at, and the reason why we've gone Stoke first and Millwall is because I could now look at Millwall differently and think that that's actually not too bad a point now.
I think when you put them together, I think the one thing that you always get from a Millwall side, doesn't seem to matter who the manager is, they're always, the one thing I was scared of, big aerial threat and set pieces, and obviously the goal, just a great example there of, them using the strength and size, and it would just, again, I think you'd rather see with our goals just someone bashing it in from like 30 yards, an absolute crackerjack. You hold your hands up, but
the ironic thing to that Grabara's mistake, the ironic thing is there was a shot from 30 yards and he makes a brilliant save to actually turn it over the bar, and then the corner comes in and drops it. Whereas if he hit the ball, if the first shot had gone in, no one would say a word. But it's just the unfortunate life of a goalkeeper. Yeah, so it's. But I thought he was good last night as well.
He used to be a goalkeeper.
No, I've played right back for a long time.
Great signing, mate. Great signing. We do well with his keepers.
I do like Kamil Grabara. Yeah, I do like Kamil Grabara, and I think he's good. He's got a good arrogance about him as well. Do you know where he thinks he's a superstar?
He got booked last night on delaying this goal kick, and then took equally as long to still take it after he'd been booked.
Yeah, that's the arrogance, isn't it? That's the brilliant, because the referee he's not going to send him
yellow
off.
him twice for that, is he?
No. He might threaten him, but he was. I like him, and I'll forgive him that mistake, because he made one great save just before that, which Danny. We'll talk about Danny Simpson and standout performances as well, but after 20 minutes, Danny Simpson just looked absolutely goosed. After 20 minutes, he did so well to play 160 more minutes. Saturday and Tuesday, so well after not playing for pretty much a year properly, and Jed Wallace, who's not really pacey, left him for dead, cut inside and whipped it towards the corner, and the referee, it went wide and the referee gave a goal kick. But it's what I'm on about with Jeremy Simpson, but Grabara made a brilliant save, a touch onto the post. It was genuinely outstanding. It was going right in the bottom corner, and it probably, because it's not given as a corner, you kind of think he doesn't now get the credit for the save that maybe he would have deserved for it. It was an outstanding save, and it was a shot on target from Millwall. It was really good.
Yeah, they were good replays, and they were going nuts, weren't they? Because it was an obvious corner. Again, our goal were good, and again we've seen one or two signs of a little bit of creativity. I still sometimes do think we take the extra pass where maybe a shot would be should be taken, but again it was a beautiful ball, and you know what Grant's going to do when he's by and large, when he gets in that situation, he'll put it in. And
usually Grant, when Grant had that there, I have to give praise to Grant, because when he got that in that position, I thought he was going to shoot, from a daft angle. He usually would, but he lifted his head, he looked up, and he played a great little ball inside for Fraser Campbell. I thought that was really great play from, and especially going back, it's almost ironic because it came from him giving the ball away initially, and Jayden Brown pressing really highly and getting in on the wide play, and Jayden Brown's contribution was excellent.
Grant's putting in some really, really unselfish work at the minute in a position he don't want to play in, and in 3 games. Last night they were all. It wasn't a great game, but the 2 previous games from playing out wide, there is an assist and a goal, which
I would argue
Fraser Campbell, a bit like Kachunga, isn't he? In many ways.
And Fraser Campbell, who ran his socks off for an hour last night, getting absolutely nothing, no service whatsoever. But
never stopped working and celebrated it like he played every minute.
I like Fraser Campbell a lot.
I've got my hands up a little bit. I put a tweet out on Saturday night.
It's captain material for me.
He's a very clever footballer.
Campbell.
He's a very clever footballer, is Fraser Campbell. And I think sometimes you look at him and you think, he's kind of statue, but he makes runs, he peels off defenders and stuff. I think if we can use him right, then he can cash in for us, and that it'd be a good asset for us.
Yeah, I like him a lot. The only thing that you don't want to do is whack long balls at his head, against big defenders, which we did a little bit at Stoke. But he does such a great unselfish job. They all do. The front 3, Kachunga as well. He does a lot of unsung work.
It's kind of like you can just tell is good around the players, around training ground, around dressing room,
around horses as well. If you've watched his interview with Adam Tomlinson, it's quite amusing. You haven't seen it, have you, Neil? I can tell by your face. But there's a At Home with Fraser Campbell, where they take him to bits of Huddersfield on YouTube, and they take him to, I think it's Lower Houses, and a horse comes up behind him and scares him. It's quite good. It's quite amusing.
You've got to give big credit for Danny Simpson, because, and again, we touched on it last night with Danny Cowley. He's not match fit whatsoever. But he gave. They said last night, didn't they? It says Ali Ellie got to do 90 minutes. He just
Danny Cowley mentioned that Saturday about his positioning.
There's a bit. He stopped running against Stoke, and he's just, his positioning is so good. He was just there. He didn't need to. His positioning against Stoke, he was there wherever he needed to. And there was one bit of play where the ball went forward. I think it was Tyrese Campbell flicked it round a corner. Elphick and Schindler sort of were pushed up, and Danny Simpson had just covered round. And not to use this to bash Flo in any way, because he's not natural at the defensive side, but Danny Simpson just sweeped around. He saw it before it happened and just sweeped around into a position where nobody would even notice.
Proper footballer.
And I just thought it was great. And he just pretty much walked and coasted with his position.
It's hell of a signing. I mean, to get... I know we've had a lot of stick for transfer window. Yeah, it wasn't great. But since that, we've brought in Campbell and Simpson. that are two brilliant signings for where we are at this level as well.
Let's talk about Danny Simpson a little bit. I'm going to talk about standout performance from the two games as well in a second, but Danny Simpson in particular. So some people have aren't keen on the Danny Simpson signing because of there's two flashpoints in his career.
Not interested. I've got to be honest.
There's I know you're not, but 2013 there's the incident in Manchester where he ends up knocked out and it's caught on video. It doesn't look great. Newcastle then I think bombed him to Leicester, and then there's the incident.
Should get some Derby players in there. They're better role models. 2014. Does that bother you? Does it bother you too? Neil, you've said no.
No, been there. It's everyone's got a past. People have got past, and if you crucify everybody for the past, nobody would move on in any walk of life. Simple as.
I just thought Simpson last night, the only one thing I would say kind of moving forward is there were a couple of times, I don't know if it's fitness or what, but he's definitely a defensive right back more than an Argentine. But there were a couple of times last night where I thought he could have brought it forward a little bit, kind of get down the flank. We were quick to release it early and then we were kind of struggling again, but that'll probably come with fitness.
I'm going to say he's probably got the most severe case of DOMS you'll come across, delayed onset muscle soreness.
To put in the two performances he has on the back of, did he play 10 games all last season?
6, I think.
So
maybe 6
to hardly play for so long and then to put those two performances in, and let's make it clear, he's played 2 games and we haven't lost. We've got 4 points,
and we've looked better at the back,
and we've looked loads better.
And one player who's looked much better is Tommy Elphick, who's had 2 good games.
He's got a proper right back alongside him. It's not a coincidence.
What do you make of Jayden Brown's efforts?
I think he's great. I've got him as a standout performer.
He really gets stuck in, doesn't he? Because when he gets beat, he's back for more, isn't he? Trying to win the ball back.
Yeah,
I like that.
He's feisty. He's energetic.
Looks like he's enjoying himself.
He's thoroughly enjoying himself, and that comes across in spades. And if you've got a straight choice of him or Congolo at left back,
I'd pick
absolute no-brainer for me. Brown every time.
I like him. There's obviously a few little bits. He gets beat in the air, but he's 5'7", 8", and I think he'll get stronger as he gets older. But I'd keep him in. I think he's doing really well. We might need another left back at some point, maybe January, just to freshen it up, keep competition, because I don't think you could rely on him to play 40 games, and it'd probably be unfair at this stage of his development. But I'm really pleased with him.
But Schindler last night had a 15 minutes where I was like, what's going on?
I thought he was great first hour. And
you're incredible, wasn't it? Later on, I don't know what was happening.
If you have a look at our backline as well now, Danny Simpson's won promotion from the Championship 3 times. Schindler's won it once. Elphick's won it twice. And we've all of a sudden got quite an experience.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not saying that. We're up. No. But all of a sudden you look at the back four and there's experience and there's a lot of games there and you can see why it's playing better as a unit.
In that environment.
Yeah, that's great for Brown, and he can just bomb on and do what he does because he's got great cover there with the others. It's just quite a solid back four, and you can throw a Congolo in and where you want.
I think, like you say, that gets forgotten in the excitement of the win. A clean sheet. It's
immense.
That's as rare as a win, and we got them both.
It's immense.
Bingo.
And yes, Stoke are bloody awful, but so have we been. So to get that clean sheet there, it's sort of a double win almost, isn't it?
So Schindler, you mentioned. I thought Schindler was good in patches against Millwall and Stoke. I thought he did well at West Brom in patch as well. I think he's getting back slowly. Someone who perhaps this is more controversial to some fans, but from Saturday and Tuesday, like yesterday, I think Jonathan Hogg is starting to slowly get back a little bit more. He's snapping in to the right areas a little bit more now than what he perhaps was.
He's the big debate at the moment amongst the fan base, the one we get the most tweets about. He's been
poor for 9 months since Wagner left, but I've just seen little flashes now of him coming back into a little bit more form, and we'll hold back on it a little bit because there's still quite a lot of people who say they're dropping for Pritchard, etc. But I just think Jonathan Hogg's just starting slowly. He's arguing less. He's still doing it, but he's arguing less, which is good. And he's just taking a bit more responsibility as well, and he's winning more of the ball. His passing is getting slightly better. Statistically, his passing is better. And I think Jonathan Hogg is raising his game, and I think you've got to credit Danny Cowley, both Cowleys, with that as well. They seem to be getting a little. They seem to be lifting people, and I think it's that malaise we were talking about for weeks. And I think the Cowleys are just getting a little bit more out of Schindler and Hogg, and hopefully more. And another one as well, Neil, Dama Diakabi has had 2 promising cameos as well, and they're just the management team just seems to be slowly but surely eking a little bit more out week on week.
They're just clearly very good, aren't they? It is that simple. The managers are very, very good. And I think they nailed it last night with substitution of to get Bacuna on from that performance last night, you could have only took Chalobah off out of the midfield three because he had a pretty turgid affair last night for Chalobah. It just want
his day.
It wasn't a good night for him. So yeah, they got the sub right there. I thought Lewis O'Brien were. I agree.
He's another good performer.
Yeah, steady away. But then last half hour,
brilliant.
The will to win and the desire. He really sort of grew up last night. Did Lewis O'Brien? That would have done him world of good.
What's interesting about Lewis O'Brien is that after Millwall, they said, and West Brom, they said he's starting to fade after 60, and then he's kind of taken that, and the last 30 really pushed on after Stoke, and he's played Saturday as well. And I was really pleased with that last half hour from O'Brien because he's a player I like a lot.
And on Diakabi, he's an impact player. I don't think he's a player who does start a game and get into a game. I think he needs to come.
If it's stretched, he's dangerous. Yeah.
And last night, I mean, they went and scouted Stoke. They did, they talked us through it. That Stoke do sort of tire and start looking a bit sort of lazy last half hour, and that's why he brought those three on to play right in the faces and use some pace to get behind. And let's be fair, it worked a treat, didn't it?
So just to finish that, if you had to pick a star performer from the two games, who would you pick? There's a lot of candidates, but if you had to pick one.
I couldn't pick one. I'd have to pick separate ones for both games.
Combine them. I'm cheating. Combine them. Who would you say?
Last night for me, he's had a lot of sticks so far this season, but I thought Elphick were excellent last night. Mm-hmm. And from Saturday, I know he got a goal, but I really like Campbell's performance. He's a proper. He's playing like a leader, and we haven't had many of them. I think we need that. I'm
going to throw in Jayden Brown for two. He lost his place. Got it back because of Congolo's injury, and I think he's been excellent in 2 games. He's my over 2 games. Kosi, I know we've taken 3 players there, so I'm trying to get you to come up with someone slightly different.
I could do Carbon for me, a bit of a game changer, but
no, that's fair.
You just seen little baby steps in it, but some signs that finally.
We don't want to get carried away, do we?
No, obviously.
But it's nice to be a bit excited, isn't it, after a win? And
isn't that what football's about, though? I mean, some people like
a player that fast is always going to be exciting to a degree as well.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next topic from that.
Ball in, and the ball gets up there. Phil Starbuck. It's there! Beautiful goal by Phil Starbuck.
Julian Winter's going to be leaving his role as CEO in the first quarter next year. So as a supporter, it's hard to know what impact he's had at the club. What do you want from your CEO, Kosi? Do you want someone who's charismatic and vocal, or just someone quietly to go about his job? Because we haven't really heard much from Julian Winter in the sort of 3 years he's been here.
I just want somebody who's looks like he's adding a bit of value to Huddersfield Town. Obviously, I suppose Julian Winter will always be mentioned in the same breath as the academy disappearing, and obviously I know people who were involved and the way that was handled and etc. But yeah, I like people to kind of let us know what's going on a little bit, and I think the thing is, Julian Winter is how he is, isn't he? And that as well, he can't change a person's character, but me as a person, I find it a struggle to kind of warm to people like him, and it's there won't be too many tears shed, I don't think, but let's hope we can kind of move on from it.
Neil, anything on Julian Winter, or anything that you'd like to see coming in next? Or
don't really know what he did. Can't really comment, to be fair. He's gone.
Oh, he's going. This will say. Right, next section.
Infield, he's got Moy. Moy can still hit one anyway. Deflection. Haveler. 2-1 Huddersfield Town. Michael Haveler, the cult hero, takes advantage of a deflection. Frame the moment, Huddersfield Town, because a German has won the West Yorkshire derby.
Neil, AMC, HSK, can you give us an update of what's happening in those wonderful worlds?
HSK is just ticking along, spending money wisely at the minute. Really, really happy that the backing we're getting from the public and from the foundation. We had a great donation of probably over £1,000 worth of food from Approved Foods last week. Andy Needham done us a great turn there, which is phenomenal. Andy's Man Club, keeps growing. 700 through the doors last week. Thornhill Dental doing a sponsored midnight walk this weekend, Friday night, with half the funds going to us and half the funds going to the Mind charity in Leeds. So, yeah, we're just getting some great support. It's just nice to see that people do actually like all these things and support them and get behind them.
Just remind us where AMC, where people can go if they need to or if they want to pop along.
There's 22 groups nationwide. Have a look on info@andhismanclub.co.uk. They're all on there. Local ones to us: Huddersfield, Leeds, Bradford, Halifax, Sheffield, Ebden Bridge, Wakefield, Dewsbury, and lots more nationwide. So yeah, really good.
Now Darren Bullock. It's the last penalty, and if he scores from this, they are through to the final. And Huddersfield are there. Darren Bullock is the hero.
In goes Robbins. Coming from the free kick, taken short to Brown, and Robbins making a dart across the face of the defenders, a perfect header. Brown gets a flick, Fletcher!
Jepson's there, Billy's in! The goal, Chris Billy, Huddersfield Town! The most famous goal of Chris Billy's life.
Right, Kosi, we'll come on to you now. So this is your little section, if you like, and those were the days. We're looking back at 40 years ago when Huddersfield had that magical season of 100 goals, promotion from the bottom tier. This game in 1979, or this particular game week in 1979, Stockport County away, a 2-1 win with goals from Mickey Laverick and Peter Hart. 5,369. Town actually went top of the league for the first time that day. Tell us a bit about Mick Laverick.
I will do. First thing, a plea, someone buy the Gas Club. I just cannot cope with that disappearing. The Gas Club needs to stay. Please, someone out there, buy the Gas Club. Thank you. So, Mickey Laverick, it is... He was in town 1979 to 1982, came back on loan in 1983, played for Mansfield, Southend, Huddersfield, York, Huddersfield again, and Boston, where he finished for 14 years. Big spell there. Mickey Buxton bought Mickey Laverick to the club in 1979, was previously working with him at Southend. He played his part in the 1979-80 promotion season, and he remained at the club until 1982. He joined York City, but then returned in 1983 for a short loan period. Laverick later played for Boston United and has worked as a prison officer at HMP Ramby for many years, and there's even a picture of HMP Ramby. Look at that for a prison nail. Unbelievable. So yeah, Mickey Laverick, I think he was a bit of an hard man, wasn't he, from all accounts on the pitch, from what I can tell.
No idea, but he scored that goal at Stockport, which is great. So we'll go to the 94-95 season, the Warnock promotion season as well. This is a huge game, and Neil, you'll have loved this game as well. So 24th of September 1994.
Can we guess it? Bradford away, that, innit?
Bradford away.
We got burgled after that game, or during it, yeah.
4-3, 2 goals from Andy Booth, 1 from Ronnie Jepson and 1 from Paul Reed. There's a left-back that played that season that came in on loan. Can you remember his name when Tom Cowan got suspended?
John
twice?
Whitney?
No.
Oof, good effort, though. It's good.
He was there around that time,
It's
but
not right.
Neil Warnock brought someone in. Can you remember, Neil?
Oh, Matt Wells?
Nope.
I'm out of it.
I remember.
Paul Williams is the one. So, Kosi, while you're looking at Paul Williams, Neil, you're from the Bradford district. Well, we're both from the Bradford district technically, but how was that 4-3? What were your memories of that 4-3 and Booth's late heroics?
Just beating them. It's just living over there all my life. Go to school there, just beating Bradford anytime, any place.
I found, sorry to chip in, but I remember building up the game. There were a big rivalry, weren't there?
Yeah.
I remember the Pulse used to cover it, and things were getting a bit out of hand. I remember on the phone-ins. Jeffrey Richmond, there were always a rent-a quote from old Jeffrey, and I remember going at ground thinking...
Him and Teddy Fisher fell out, didn't they?
I remember walking into Bradford, coming through thinking, it's a bit tasty here and that as well, and I think it kicked off a bit in the town centre. This was a proper, serious... I I really enjoyed this because we were both up there. This is what football's about for me and that as well. But
it was proper. I think that's when did Kamada play for them that day?
Yeah, they did because he scored and swung on crossbar, didn't he? I remember
Paul Joel swung on it, didn't he?
Yeah. There were a 3-2, wasn't it, at that point? But then we went back down the other end. But, yeah. Paul Williams, Leicester, Stockport, Coventry, West Brom, Huddersfield, Plymouth, Gillingham, Bury, Lee Armai. He was playing for Coventry when Warnock brought him to the club on loan during the 94-95 season. He had 2 spells on loan at the club before returning to Highfield Road at the end of the season. He took him to Plymouth. He spent 3 years there playing 130 games. He had a short spell at Gillingham before spending 4 years at Bury. Williams had a short spell at Lee Armai before hanging up his boots. He's been working as a coach at a number of non-league clubs, including Glossop North End. He's now living and working in Blackburn. So we'll see him in a couple of Saturdays, Paul. Get yourself there. Dinner time kick-off. Because we're going to do you.
So the information comes from the Where Are They Now book, which you can get from the Huddersfield Town Club shop or online at Amazon or Waterstones. So thanks to Lee Morris for providing that one. 100 years ago, Town were actually promoted to the top flight for the first time, finishing second behind Tottenham. Town only lost once in the last 25 games, but still finished 6 points behind Spurs. I'm not going to ask you guys for your memories on Huddersfield Town romping to promotion in 1919, 1920, but I do find it quite interesting that 100 years ago, Huddersfield were promoted to the top flight for the very first time, which and then almost amalgamated with Leeds in the same season. So that's one to maybe look at if you're interested later on.
Hi, I'm Sean Jarvis, and my favourite goal has to be from one of my friends, which is Tony Cars, and of course that left foot volley.
Kosi, you put a tweet out earlier.
Yeah,
do you want to have a read through what we've had in?
A few reactions. Elphick was fantastic. This Oliver Smith. Elphick was fantastic last night. I know we can't just go off one performance, but he looked the part more so than Schindler, I would say. I agree about Diakabi, though. He's looked a threat in the past few games. Graham Rayner would bring Congolo in for Elphick, and Diakabi deserves a start. Has been more of a threat in his cameos than Kachunga, who should have scored last night. Danny Smith asks us, where do you see Pritchard fit in this side? Neil?
Last night he done, because of how we played. We played very much to not concede anything, to keep the ball, to play deep, to get them on break. He won last night. At home, you got to sacrifice one of them, one of the three. But away from home, I don't think he fits at the minute.
Wow, Matt, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't know who I would drop, to be honest, because Lewis O'Brien's done well. Hogg's a bit of a linchpin in many ways. Chalobah's in that. If you drop Pritchard for Chalobah, then all of a sudden you've got 3 5'7" midfielders in there, and you become a little bit vulnerable maybe on set pieces. I'd be tempted to play Lewis O'Brien wide in some scenarios, but then again, who do you drop out of Grant and Diakabi, Kachunga? So it's not my problem, thankfully.
No.
But yeah, I would have him in against Hull if he were fit, but I think on current form, Chalobah, but
yeah, Andy HTSC's Chalobah passenger last night didn't tackle and run or pass with any sort of desired quality. He and Hogg both want to do the same role, which might be hindering him. I'd be looking to bring a Bacuna in from Saturday. Oliver says, we think we just needed a break, gave the lads some belief. I saw glimpses of what we could be after we scored. I'm not his biggest fan, but Diakabi gave us some pace. Need to take things on to Saturday now. Daniel Townend, I think the Cowleys set us up correctly with the players we have. Going forward, it might not be pretty, but staying in games and nicking goals is how we're going to stay up. Clean sheets are vital. Watson, DPW247, I'm away and missed Stoke. Also missed both Wolves games and the Fulham game last year. I'm going Saturday. Do you think I'm a jinx and we won't win, or coincidence, and I'll see my first win in God knows how long?
Stay away.
Stay away, and that as well. Chris Moore, I think things are slowly changing for the better, scoring goals down the middle from good passing and confident finishers. Still feels some players want out, but I think the Cowleys know who's committed and who isn't. Championship or League One Cowleys are the men for the job up the town. Callum Wishart, do you think Bacuna's goal will help him be more receptive to the Cowleys scheme and the management of his game? Cowley talks very highly of him afterwards, and he hit the spot with his comments. Neil?
It's hard not to play him after last night, but it's difficult to drop anybody. The scrapping out there, and he's not been in the two starting lineups. But it's a big call for the manager. I'm pretty sure he'll get it right. If I'm going to drop anybody from last night or change it rather than drop, it'd be Chalobah out.
Eddie Hoyle looking a lot more confident and stable as each game goes by. Confidence will grow as the results come, which should see our attack improve. Big raps for Jayden Brown and Lewis O'Brien, both been very good. And a bit more love for Diakabe, who's looking good too. That as well. Andy Needham, seen the Carlos sort issues one by one. Right back, left back. Can we say this word? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Fannying at dead balls. Time to play further up the field and have over half the team as potential goal threats. Will take time, but Monkey now off our back. More goals and results to come. He makes a point though. Johnny Ogg's been a legend, but in his opinion, it's time to rest him. Play Trevor in holding role, Lewis and Bacuna, and Reece Brown make up midfield, all with an eye for goal or killer pass. Energy to join attacks, more threat and less slowing down of play. We will get more positive results. A few people commented on Johnny Ogg. I mean, last night I was thinking, did we bring him off? But then who's holding it together when you need him in the way at Stoke, don't you? But is the talking point really at the moment is Johnny Ogg?
I think he's done all right. He's been better, slightly better last few games. Chalobah's not really had a good couple of games. Form with young players is always up and down, so I'm not worried or anything or going to hang him out.
Ben Denby says, why do we play Diakabe in the right wing? He always cuts inside an opposition double up. Surely he's better on the left.
Yeah, I think the idea is to get him closer to a striker with a solo striker, isn't it? If you play him on the flank, he's probably going to be pushed wider with him being left-footed, I guess. I suppose the idea is that he comes inside and acts as more of a support job, but he's been there before. He's played on both sides.
And the final one, really, from Clive Wilkinson. Brilliant result, but that first half was shocking. Slow play down one end, one wing into a dead-end play. It was then back slowly down the other wing and repeated till we lost the ball. Game changed when Diakabe and Bacuna came on and we went more direct.
Hi, I'm Dean Hoyle and my favourite Huddersfield goal is... Who put the ball in Lee's net? Cowling. Who put the ball in Cowling's net? David Cowling. David Cowling. I'm not chairing anymore, I can say what I want now.
So Hull City on Saturday, innit? Which is, they're coming in off the back of a nice win against Sheffield Wednesday, but they'll be looking at it thinking we've got a chance to win here, but I keep hearing people say, there's winnable games, X, Y, Z, but I don't think you can say this in this division, do you? Even if we were playing Leeds, I'd fancy us to get a result, would you? Now, to me, Championship's never been about, this. We're not going to win here or not going to win there. We can win anything.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Hull are on quite decent form, aren't they? So they've kind of win one, lose one. They're sort of your typical Championship side at the minute, aren't they? Where they'll win one, they'll draw one, they'll lose one, and inconsistent. So I suppose you don't know what Hull City, what kind of Hull City are going to turn up at the weekend. If a good one turns up, they've got threatening players such as Grzycki out wide, and Jared Bowen's a class player at this level.
You love him, don't you?
I think he's quality. A long time ago. I think that ship's long gone. I like him a lot. Tommy Eaves is a player I've liked quite a lot in the lower leagues. I think he's slightly underrated who they've signed. I think he's quite a decent player, big man who plays up front. So
I don't know many of their team, to be honest, from last night.
Daniel Batty, did he play?
Eric Leard played at Forest, didn't he?
Yeah.
You got, is it McGuinness up front, Bowen, Honeyman, Irvin and Grzycki in the midfield, Stewart as an holding mid, and then Leachard's Birkin.
That Honeyman was at Sunderland, wasn't he?
George Honeyman, yeah, of course he was. And George Long, I think it was Sheffield United, wasn't he, before?
Yeah, well, yeah.
They went up on that as well, but interesting game. We're not bussing all fans in from outside most services, are we? Or as John relented on his issues. But yeah, no, it should be good again. You're looking forward to it, aren't you? But see what we can do. But
yeah, let's see what team turns up. It's one of those where you look at it and we could win it, we could draw it, we could lose it. So it's better, isn't it? It's not like in the Premier League.
Training up, it wasn't what the cars heading the canal side. We're like, everyone, well, you'd like to think would be up for it tomorrow, and it should be a good place to be. Huddersfield Town, and bring it on and that as well. There were some nice videos and pictures and stuff last night. We're just good to be part of it, wasn't it? And even though the M62 took us all over the shop after, and I think some people getting back after 1 o'clock, no one cared we'd won, and that's all that mattered, didn't it? So up the town really, and more of the same. Let's get out of the bottom three and launch our playoff bid Saturday.
Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town.
He's missed. Steve Simonson clears the flame of the goal and collapses in a heap of tears.
Pate's got a chance. Pate scores. Jack Pate scores.
Headland is in there.
scored Huddersfield Town! 3-2 Town! Forestieri, Danny Ward saves! Danny Ward saves! De Quattro's in, round De Gea! 2-0 Huddersfield Town!
Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!